JL's Movie Life, episode 22. This week I am reviewing The Sessions, which is a movie starring John Hawkes, who you may recognize as that guy from different things, and it also stars Helen Hunt, who you may recognize from your thoughts as, wait, she's still alive? Oh, cool, I thought she died. That's why she wasn't doing anything for a while. But it stars those two, and John Hawkes puts in a very good performance, which sort of reminds me of My Left Foot, because he plays a guy who's basically paralyzed. He has muscle sensation, but basically can't move most of his body and has to live inside an iron lung to assist his breathing. I never knew what an iron lung was, but it looks very large and cumbersome and not pleasant based on the movie, if the movie's depiction is accurate. Maybe it's a much easier thing to live with. I doubt it, though. It sounds bad also. I always thought an iron lung was some sort of torture device, but you know, you go to the movie sometimes and you learn things. But John Hawkes plays Mark O'Brien, who severely disabled, but manages to go to Berkeley, presumably not on a football scholarship. But he reaches the age of 38 when we see him in the movie, and he's still a virgin. So he's just 2 years away from the shame of being Steve Carell in the Judd Apatow movie. So I guess because he didn't want to become a 40-year-old virgin, he enlists a sex therapist to help him lose his virginity, and he's given a blessing from the local priest, played by William H. Macy. And he meets Helen Hunt, who is a sex therapist, what did they call her? I don't know. Some sort of sex therapist, some bullshit title that basically means she's a prostitute but high-minded about it. And let's be honest, we would give a prostitute a pass if she catered simply to disabled people to make their lives better. That really would be the whore with a heart of gold. So that's what she plays, and if anybody's ever wanted to see Helen Hunt naked, you get to see her naked a lot. If anybody ever wanted to see Helen Hunt naked 10 years ago, you might be disappointed. But she still looks nice, and this will probably get her an Oscar nomination, because when a woman in her 40s gets naked for an entire movie, she generally at least gets a nomination. It's the least we can do. And she's riding on top of a guy pretending to be severely disabled. And as far as disabilities go in movies, like I said before, I don't remember if I did already, My Left Foot is kind of the movie that comes to mind. Daniel Day-Lewis's first Oscar. Brilliant in that movie. Extremely physically rigorous. But he played Christy Brown, who could paint with his left foot. Now this guy does poetry with his mouth by typing on things with like a straw in his mouth and typing. Both very difficult, but let's be honest, if we're picking out who the more impressive disabled artist is, I'm going with the painter. You know, because poetry is pretty much the worst form of art. Maybe the only two things probably lower than poetry are deaf poetry, and not deaf as in can't hear, but DEF, like Malcolm Jamal Warner yelling at you on HBO at midnight kind of poetry, and comedy. Comedy's the only thing even lower. So maybe there'll be a movie one day about a disabled guy who tells jokes, and people could be like, you know what, that's lame. Nobody gives a shit. But the performances in the movie are very good. But it's one of those movies because it's about a disabled guy. It's got a lot of indie charm. It's got some people, you know, like John Hawkes, who's been a steadily good working actor. And I think people get behind movies like this and want to reward them with tons of Oscar nominations and things. But the movie overall is just solid. It's nothing great. You know, it's a challenging performance by Hawkes. Everybody in the movie does a nice job. But it's a fair movie. You know, I'd give it a B. I know every critic is, you know, falling over each other trying to praise this movie more, but it's a good movie, but it's not great. And let's be honest, John Hawkes, Daniel Day-Lewis is playing Lincoln this year. You picked the wrong year to try and get that sneaky disabled guy Oscar. So I think Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln may still beat you again. So he beat you with Christy Brown painting with his foot instead of poetry with his mouth, and he might beat you with Lincoln also. So, I don't know. See it, don't see it, I don't care. But it was an okay movie. I give it a B. That's it. So next week I'll be reviewing Cloud Atlas if I can see it in the middle of Detroit. If not, there may not be a movie review next week. But hopefully I get to see Cloud Atlas, and you can hear about that. So there's the review of The Sessions. Have a nice week. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you next week.
Wanna get the feeling, gotta get the feeling, gonna get the feeling once again. Wanna get the feeling, gotta get the feeling, gonna get the feeling.